hello there, I'm Détroit. Just like today's drawing has many branches, there are many tiny things I want to talk about, instead of going on and on and on about one subject. Let's start with what you want to hear first, the drawing I'm making. Or maybe I should talk about it at the end of the video, for watch time. Nah, I don't really care about all that. But do watch until the end, you've been warned. And subscribe. So, this drawing. I debated for a long time how I should talk about it. It's a very peculiar drawing, isn't it? I thought about writing a short fantasy text about it, maybe turning it into a magical rune, or alien carvings or something. My best idea was to make it into a prophecy, explaining how each line represented a choice and you could have all of these situations in your life. This drawing could very well be the key to the meaning of life, and the difficulty would reside in how you interpret the drawing. However, I don't really feel like writing fantasy right now, so let's talk about the drawing normally. The idea came to me a while ago when I doodled this on my iPad. It was just a random thing, and a few days ago I saw it again and decided to do it, but with ink this time. I don't have many rules for this drawing. There are a lot of circles and crossing lines, but the only real rule is symmetry. I say it's a rule, but I haven't drawn any grid or sketch to make sure I respect the symmetry, so it's all handmade and wonky at best. It's fine, I can easily Photoshop that and duplicate one side on top of the other to make it look good. So yeah, a lot of circles, a lot of triangles and arrows. Maybe it could also be a diagram of a spaceship. It looks like an electrical circuit schematics too. I drew it without thinking too much about it. I was watching a movie. I can tell you, I was watching the original X-Men trilogy. It's been years since I saw these films. The movies are a bit old now, but they're still cool. The SFX are what you would expect from a movie that's like 23 years old, but that's alright. The actors especially are great. I especially enjoyed the dynamic between the characters of Magneto and Professor X, and Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are just great actors. I never read any X-Men comics, but I saw these movies very young, and I liked the storyline enough that I was conflicted when they rewrote the story in the subsequent movies, and changed the timelines, etc. But that's just what Marvel does, isn't it? Talking about media, let's get a quick manga update. I finished reading Full Metal Alchemist. It's a manga that's been around me for as long as I can remember, but I never really got into it. And now I finally read the whole thing over the last 2 weeks. So I like the story. It's fun, and I don't regret reading it at all. Now, a lot of people put FMA up there at the all-time top of mangas, with the likes of Naruto. I get it, but I fully disagree. First off, I'm not really into mangas that take place in a Western setting. Mangas are made by Japanese people, and when the setting is based on Europe, like is the case with Full Metal, everything just feels approximate, you know? The names make no sense or are too stereotypical. It's a tiny detail, but it always feels a bit strange. Something, however, that really bugs me is the art style. First point, eyes are supposed to be in the middle of the head, even for manga. In Full Metal Alchemist, they are so high up, most characters don't have a forehead. The nose becomes the center and they all have huge chins. I don't like that. Second point, a lot of characters look like each other and are not visually striking. Do the silhouette test. Take just the silhouette of a FMA character without the features. It could be anyone. There's a reason in manga a lot of characters always have crazy hairstyles or nonsense clothing, because this way you recognize them at a glance, at least in shonen. In Full Metal Alchemist, everybody wears the same clothing, and because the setting is supposed to be more realistic, everybody has quote-unquote normal hairstyles. That's commendable, but boring. Anyway, I give the manga FMA a 6 out of 10. Based on an arbitrary scale, of course. Let's move on. Next on my list of topics to talk about, a tech update, sort of. It's not strictly tech, but I'm updating my desk setup. I recently bought a monitor stand so that my 2 computer screens float above my desk. Both screens are now on articulated arms that I can move around a bit. I don't plan on moving them at all, but it certainly declutters the space a bit with the cables along the arms, and no more big stands under the screens. But the real reason I bought a new monitor stand is because in about a week or so I will be upgrading my desk itself. 2 or 3 years ago I drew my desk, like this. While it's changed a tiny bit, with my computer now being behind the monitors and my XP Pen tablet replacing the Wacom Intuos, it's still basically the same. behind my desk is a large table that holds my screen, my soundbar, my computer, and my camera tripod. This way I have a lot of room on the desk itself to draw. But the thing is, the desk itself isn't a desk. It's actually a wooden door that's on a trestle on one side and a small cabinet on the other. This door has been my desk for 8 years, across 2 cities and 6 different apartments. I love it because it's very wide, it has more room than most available desks, but it's getting old. I feel it dipping in the middle if I put too much weight on it, and I'm afraid it's gonna break. So I'm gonna buy a proper desk in about a week when I get paid from my day job. I found one that's long and wide enough for my needs, and I won't need to risk my expensive XP Pen tablet falling to the ground when the wooden door has had enough serving me. When I replace it, I will reorganize my whole setup a bit, and I'll use the opportunity to do some much needed cleaning. It's really dusty where I live, and the table behind my desk is full of dust that I need to remove before it gets into my computer. I'll update you on that when it's done, and maybe I'll even draw my setup once again. It's been a while after all, and I can do a cool drawing and setup tour at the same time. You know, my goal with this drawing thing, and YouTube, etc., is to eventually make a living from it. But that's gonna take a while, so after my PhD ends in 6 months, I will still have to find a normal job to get by. Before I can live fully with my art, one goal I have is to first compensate my investments. When I built my computer, when I bought an XP Pen tablet, when I got a tripod and a camera, all of that was for the purpose of art making mainly. So I will be satisfied when I can make enough money from my art to pay all of these expenses. It's a lot. It's more than 2,000 euros in total, but it's a more achievable goal than paying my rent, for example. So yeah, when I can do that, I will have achieved my main goal. I don't really like asking for money, but in case you just won the lottery and have bucks to spare, you can donate on ko-fi.com/d3. There's a link in the description. In the meantime, let's have a look at the finished artwork. Like the video if you enjoyed the doodle, and tell me in the comments what you would like to see me draw in the future. Subscribe for weekly videos, and I'll see you in a week. Bye!